I'm Dr. Nancy De Andrade. Today, I want to talk to you about conscious awareness and why it's so important that you become aware of your thoughts, your mind, and your feelings. The first thing that I want to provide is education, because in order for you to really dwell deep into consciousness and just awareness and all that is expanding your mind and giving your mind enough information to really grasp things and understand where it's coming from. Now, the first thing that I want to share with you is the fact that your mind at this exact moment is perceiving 11 million bits of information every second. Every second. That's a lot. Now, are you aware of it? Yes, your mind is aware of it. But are you consciously aware of it? No. Right now, your mind can see every single tone of color, every shade of color. They can hear the tone of my voice, the pitch, the pauses, everything. You can hear the sounds around you, the skin, the clothes you're wearing, the sounds that are unexpected, everything. Your mind is perceiving all of it at once. But how does it work when it's like, whoa, this is too much information? Well, the brain is smart. It doesn't just necessarily perceive all at once. It just makes you conscious of 40 bits of information. Out of the 11 millions of information, only 40 go to your conscious mind. And of course, the rest is pure potential. The rest is potential opportunities, potential encounters, potential possibilities, potential things, like so many potentials exist in there because everything already exists. Everything is already created. Energy is never destroyed. It always changes. So everything that you see and you find exists already in this field of infinite potentiality. So you don't believe me? I'm going to share this with you. I want you to imagine that, or I don't know, maybe in the past you have thought of buying a car and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy a black convertible, and you're like, I decided that I'm going to look for this black convertible. Now, the moment that you decide, you start driving and you're like, oh, wow, there's one black convertible. Oh, wow, there's another one. And another one. Like, what the heck? Did everybody decide all of a sudden to buy a convertible? That's not what really happens. The brain actually said, oh, is that important? Let's pay attention to it. And that attention, that awareness is what brings things into existence. So everything else, the blue buses and the yellow motorcycles or whatever, they all disappear from your conscious awareness. So what is it that brings things into awareness is your attention. Now, I'm going to shift gears just a little bit here, but I'm going to tie it all together. Now, if you are like me, I don't like waking up before the sun is out, honestly. Like if I have to, it's because I have to go to the airport or something like that. Like I look outside and if it's dark, my mind is like, not getting up. And that has something to do, that actually has to do with a very special system in the brain called the reticular activating system. Let me explain how this works. When the sun hits your eyes, right? Neuropeptides, those are chemicals like norepinephrine, these messengers that run through your brain, those are released in your brain, right? To help you wake up. So your eyes perceive the light, the brain gets to work and starts like moving all these messengers and sending them all over the place and arouses you from sleep. Now, this coordination, because it honestly takes coordination, light coming in, the eyes perceiving the light, chemicals, messengers being sent, increasing heart rate and all of that to wake you up. This is amazing coordination. And that amazing coordination is done by the reticular activating system. Beautiful, amazing system that we have in our brain. This system helps us with arousal. and it helps us with attention, and it helps us with perception, and it helps us with mood and pain. And so the piece that I really wanted to focus on the reticular activating system is actually the part of attention, the part of perception of thoughts and mood and pain, all of that. Now, you may be thinking, okay, Nancy, how are you going to tie this all up? What are you talking about? How does this work? The brain produces gamma waves in the reticular activating system that allow our senses to perceive all of that information, that consistent stream of information that we don't necessarily pay attention to. Now, what does that mean? What it means is that if you're walking in the street, you're having a conversation with someone, and all of a sudden you see a car coming by, your brain is going to notice that. You are unconsciously perceiving everything around you. You know what's going on around you, but it's not until that moment that it becomes conscious or that is necessary. For example, the car's gonna run you over, is coming towards you, or you hear an alarm, a siren, that your reticular activating system decides, ooh, pay attention to this. Now, this system basically brings what's unconscious to the conscious mind so you can decide what to do, to pay attention to that. So when you are thinking, now I'm bringing it all back, when you are thinking, I want to buy the black convertible, your attention and your awareness awakens the reticular activated system, and it says, hey, this is important, this is relevant for me, and it brings it to the conscious mind. It brings to the conscious mind what's important to you or what's interesting. Sometimes it's like, ooh, squirrel, I like this. Ooh, shiny, you know? And so your mind gets attracted to all of that. Now, the same thing happens with your thoughts and your beliefs. So for example, if you believe that nobody helps you, or everybody's out to get me, or whatever, then you are telling your mind, you're telling your brain what's important to you, what's relevant. And guess what? Gets to work. The reticular activating system says, I got you. I will bring to conscious mind all of those people that behave in that way that is consistent with your belief. So now you'll be aware of those people that are cut in front of you, or that person that didn't smile when you smile at them, or whatever. In all of the people that are kind, that are wanting to help, that are smiling at you, they don't make it to your conscious mind. They disappear from your conscious mind. Now, it's very hard because in this day and age, we are so inundated by infinite amount of information that just keeps coming at us constantly and consistently, that our brain has to make a decision, like split of a second decisions, what to pay attention to. I don't know about you, but like I've gone on TikTok and I've gotten lost. Information, more. It's like a hook, man. I can't get myself out of that. It's things that I have to do. Do I click? Do I do this? Do I smile? Just flip? In such a short time, how do we decide what are we going to focus on? We focus on what's, again, interesting or relevant. Sometimes it's not even that relevant and we're still hooked on that. But it really depends on your beliefs, what you are feeling in that moment, what you're surrounding yourself with, what you're feeding your mind, what are you telling yourself? I don't know if you've heard or have watched the movie, The Social Dilemma. If you haven't, the movie is about how social media manipulates the consumer to keep them in their platforms, to keep them addicted and hooked on their platforms. And so I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at my phone and I see a little red dot, like, ooh, somebody texted me, like, oh, yeah, it's a red dot. Red means alarm, pay attention. And it has a number. Ooh, I have to get rid of that. I have to get rid of that. That's what the brain tells me. Like, I have to turn that into 0. So it gets me hooked. It gets me connected. And I have to say that there is a reason for this. And if you saw the movie, you probably have heard of this. And it is a dopamine hit. Now, what is dopamine? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, right? That we produce in the brain, and that it acts as a messenger in the brain circuit. Now, when we are excited about something, when we're anticipating something, some kind of reward or some action that feels exciting, boom, dopamine gets activated. We are releasing dopamine just at the anticipation of things to happen. Now, something that I learned recently was that when when our brain is releasing dopamine, the brain brings the body back into homeostasis, into what they call the baseline, by generating the opposite. So what's the opposite of something exciting? Something not exciting, sometimes pain, you know? And so this baseline, there's sometimes people have it lower than others, it's what tells you the amount of dopamine that you're generally releasing, or that your body is generating. So maybe you are the type of person who is consistently, I don't know, working out or doing something that gets your mood going, and so your baseline might be a little bit higher. Maybe you're a person that is a little more mellow and just like calm and just like lower. Maybe your dopamine is a little bit lower, that baseline. But what that means, though, is that every time I see this little red dot, my brain is expecting a reward. And the reward may be as simple as like, I'm going to get rid of that dot. Or I'm going to see something exciting. Who knows, right? I might open, ooh, who texted me? Ooh, who sent me a message? Who DM me? Like, something. So your brain is sort of looking for that reward, and is unfortunately, it's like it turns very addictive, because then you're looking for the next high. It could be, social media, or it could be substance, it could be an activity, it could be really anything. Now, the body is so smart. It's brilliant, and is always looking for homeostasis, for balance. When you have a huge meal, insulin is just flowing, and whatever, the body's like, we got to do something to bring you back to balance. So insulin is involved, and then all of a sudden you have too much of that, and your blood sugar drops, and then you crave sweets and whatever. So the body's constantly seeking to bring balance on your system. And so the same thing with dopamine. The body recognizes that too much of a good thing is not always so good, and so the body creates pain to balance the system. It's kind of like bringing it back to 0. If you are +5, the body's like, ooh, how do we bring it to 0? I have to do -5. Not as fun, right? And so the more dopamine that the body releases, the more the body will compensate by creating pain. So the problem is that then people seek more and more and more reward to try to increase pleasure, not understanding that what they're doing, they're also increasing more pain. So anytime that we are like, ooh, I want to see more, or I want to click on this, or I want to see the next one, is like going into gambling machines and just like, ooh, this time I'm going to win. Ooh, this time I'm going to win. It's a reward system that gets you hooked, like how you train a dog, by rewards. And so why would the body create pain? Like, honestly, like why? Is to bring balance. When the body's saying like, I'm having too much of this dopamine thing, I feel down after. I don't know if it's happened to you that you go on a vacation and you're like so excited and you enjoy it and you do this amazing thing, and then when you come back, you're like, wow, I'm down. I don't know why. I need to plan my next vacation. That same, balance. Now, going back to the million bits of information, what does that have to do with the million bits of information? It has to do with that a lot. We get inundated with constant stimuli, constantly. And that causes the brain to say, I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this anymore. And it just gets saturated to the point of burnout. Like there's so much stimulation, so many decisions you have to make, so much you have to decide. Like, and so the brain says, I don't know what to choose. I don't know what to choose. I don't know what to choose. Don't make me choose. It creates anxiety. And sometimes it creates numbness. Okay, whatever. Sure. Select for me. Choose for me. I don't know. Because of this constant unconscious selection of rewards. Like the social media is going to tell you, oh, you like looking at cats videos. Oh, let me send you more. Oh, and you might like dogs too. And let me tell you what you are going to feel. This whole constant unconscious selection of rewards is what makes our pain more evident. But how do we bring balance? How do we bring it back to balance? We need to bring it back to balance by managing and controlling the choices that we make and the rewards that we're seeking. When we are not aware of what we're consuming, when we are not aware of what we're thinking or even feeling and what we're experiencing at the moment, then guess what? We are slaves. We become slaves to our next dopamine hit, with the next stimulant, with the next reward that is going to give us relief. We become slaves to social media, to all of those things that make us feel better. We become slaves to our mind. Instead of us controlling our mind controls us. Instead of us controlling our thoughts, what we feel, the way that we want to communicate, guess what? Our mind starts controlling us. But I know this is all like bad news and whatever, but do not despair. Do not despair. Don't worry. There is an answer. In reality, we can control the pace and the amount of stimulation that we consume. We can control that, but we have to become aware of our surroundings. We have to become aware of how we are interacting with it. Like put limits to your use, or like notice how often you're using it. Just be more selective of who you follow, what you watch, when you watch it. Just select the rewards that you are receiving, as well as the amount that we're receiving, so you can like have baseline. You can bring more peace, more inner balance. Now you can increase your baseline by sort of like selecting rewards that are consistent. So for example, maybe you work out and that brings you to balance. That makes you feel like a dopamine hit, but it's not like a spike, huge hill to climb and then the valleys come, but it's like this balance. And so make those rewards consistent and also inner guided. It's not about never doing something fun, that's not what I'm talking about, but it's also not about being the next thrill seeker, like just seeking thrilling adventures every time, and then when you're done with that, you gotta find the next one, because then that becomes addiction. You're not really facing reality, you're just avoiding reality. And so what we can do is sort of bring balance by creating rewards that are delivered in a way that is not such a highs and lows, but in a way that is consistent. Meditation, exercise, being of service, doing things that really make you feel good. The best thing to do is to look for rewards inside. The baseline, you can achieve it through the stability, and you manage that through routines and managing your expectations too. When bringing everything together, I think what's really, really most important is for you to be conscious and to be aware of what you're perceiving, is that you have to be present with your emotions. You have to be present with your thoughts. You have to be present with your triggers. You have to be present with your beliefs. You have to like really focus on you and like really realize like, Why am I wanting to do that? What am I feeling right now? I think I'm feeling bored, you know, or why am I seeking this? Or why am I feeling this way? Oh, yeah, I just went through that. What are my beliefs? I believe that life is boring, or that I have to work really hard to achieve what I want. And I'm not saying don't work hard. I love working hard for something I'm passionate about, for something I love. But just notice the beliefs that are creating your reality. That's the main thing, because it is everything that you're perceiving, you are bringing into conscious mind. Everything exists already. So what are you bringing into your reality? What are you conscious of? And it all depends on what you believe. So conscious awareness is it's really about being present in your life. You can be present through your breath. You can be present through meditation, doing an activity that really engages you, like maybe swimming or walking or something that moves you. But it's also noticing your surroundings and choosing what you feed to yourself, what you put in your mind and your body. So I highly recommend that you meditate, of course, so you can really start to notice how you're not in control of your mind. You will be very shocked and maybe not so happily surprised as to how much your mind has a mind of its own. Redundant. And you will be amazed how difficult it is to really control your mind, but it is possible. You know, you are the boss. You know, your awareness is what like really makes things happen in around you. So cultivating that that conscious awareness, that mindfulness of everything you do is the key for conscious awareness. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe, please. Talk to you soon.